Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Monday. It is August 25th, just about 9 a.m., and this is a real quick status update. I've been doing this once a week now for 4 or 5 weeks at least, and mostly this week is here to hold me accountable because it did not look as good last week as I was hoping. So last week I did have multiple days where I was not able to work on anything because I had back-to-back returning client appointments. I decided to meet with all clients between now and the first or second week of January just to touch base, see if anything has changed, and talk to them about a slight change in our process for this coming tax season 2026. So those meetings have been going exceptionally well. The clients are very happy to talk. They're glad that I reached out, been able to answer some questions for them related to their tax situation that they probably wouldn't have asked me about if we hadn't reached out to them and scheduled the appointment. So that's been going awesome. Really enjoyed that. There was some new client appointments mixed in last week, along with some tax return review appointments. Some personal stuff too. Had to take my truck in and things like that. Had to go to the kids' school one day for kind of the welcome back thing. Had to take the kids to the orthodontist one morning. So last week was really full. A lot of it was work, but some of it was not, and that is reflected in kind of the work that was pushed across the finish line. So there was not a lot of work pushed across the finish line, though we will see in one of the later slides that there was more work done than what it looks like. So 1040s, we've only got one more across the finish line last week, so that is a little disappointing, to be honest with you. And then businesses also just one pushed across the finish line there too. And that percentage, 77%, should be up a little bit probably, because 34 was 77%, 35 would be a little bit more than that on the businesses. But just two returns pushed across the finish line, but that's not the whole story. In process, I do have one additional 1040 in process that I'm able to work on right now than I did last week. And that's through getting responses to questions and getting people's documents that I didn't have. Businesses down from 7 to 2, but those didn't all get across the finish line, unfortunately. Where they show up here is waiting on information. So I was waiting on information from 5 businesses last week, and this week it is 10, and that was mostly due to business returns last week that were in process that I started working on. Sent the client all the questions, and now I'm waiting for them to get back to me in response to those questions so that I can finish up the returns. And most of those, they were pretty straightforward questions. I think that there won't be a whole lot of back and forth, and so the clients will get me the information, and I will quickly be able to wrap up those business returns. Now, some of those also, there's still one or two that I really don't have any information for, and that's a little bit challenging at the moment. And then waiting on information for 1040s is down to 33. So overall, not what I would have hoped for last week. It's August 25th. Like I said, I've got until September 15th to finish up all these business returns. Most of them, when I look at where my business returns are at and the number of business returns there are left, there's really only about one or two that I'm a little bit concerned about, need to touch base with the business owner and make sure that I get everything very soon in order to be able to wrap those up by the September 15th deadline. I think everyone else is in a good spot. I think I will be able to hit that deadline just fine. I know I will hit it because I'll do what it takes to do that, even if it's working a couple of weeknights or weekends. I'll get that wrapped up. So no issues there. Everything seems fine, and then we'll really turn our attention to 1040s. We'll continue to get those out too. This week, there's not going to be much progress this week, so I do have today to work on returns until about 3:30, and then this evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, pretty much those 3 days are all full days. I'm attending the IRS National Tax Forum. It's here in Orlando. The cost is super cheap. It's like 200 and some bucks, and you can get up to about 20 to 25 hours of continuing ed. And I went to it 1 year before COVID, and I thought it was fine. I've heard some people say they don't really like it. I mean, mix it in every couple of years. I think that the courses are good. I think the information is fine. You get some information that's helpful directly from the IRS as well. And so I'll be attending that the next 3 days, but I do have today and pretty much a full day on Friday where I can get returns kind of wrapped up. Then next week, it's a lot of returning client appointments and some new client appointments with some time mixed in to finish up returns. And then the week of the 8th, there's some tax planning and forecasting meetings that week. I've got a bunch of those scheduled that week with some time around that to continue finishing up returns. And then we've got the September 15th deadline. So there's not a whole lot of work hours left. So, man, it is looking like, depending on kind of how this comes in this week, I'm going to be really pushing tax business clients hard on getting those answers to me, and then maybe having to work a couple of nights or weekend hours to get those things wrapped up. But most of them are very close to being finished. So it's not like even those number of returns are, hey, I've got to fully work on these returns. It's mostly just tying up some loose ends, getting the final pieces in place to put them on the tax return, and then get those tax returns to the client. So overall, I think everything's all right. I'll keep you guys updated again next week on Monday. It's Labor Day, so hope you have a great holiday weekend this coming weekend, and I'll get another video hopefully with some updates and some more returns getting across the finish line for next week. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a note in the comments on where you're at and how you're doing with the upcoming deadlines.